Although there are both days that I look forward to it and then days that I struggle to get started because I can become a bit of a lazy bastard myself, one thing is for sure. I always feel better after my morning workout, and so does the rest of my day. Food tastes better, I have more energy, more focus, I'm more disciplined, and even being a better person feels easier. Still, despite all that and the fact that my life revolves around fitness since I'm a coach, that's what I do for a living, I also, like you, don't always have all the time in the world for it. I also like doing other things such as playing music, I like reading books, spending time with friends and family, and I even enjoy watching an episode or two on Netflix before going to bed. In the end, I believe that that's the best way to make fitness part of your lifestyle. Instead of obsessing about it, you want to think of it as something that makes the rest of your life better, as long as you're getting in that minimum effective weekly dose. So especially once you become an adult with all kinds of responsibilities like the rest of us, to a big extent, the problem with maintaining fitness as a habit comes when you think of it from an all or nothing perspective. When you get caught in all the social media and YouTube algorithms showing you people constantly obsessing with it, spending 2 to 3 hours per day on their workouts and their whole health rituals and, morning routines. What if I did Andrew Huberman's morning routine for 30 days? I wonder how long that takes. Andrew Huberman morning routine. So the whole thing takes at least 3 hours per day. Yeah, I'm not doing that. When you see all that and you can barely scrape together 30 to 40 minutes of free time for your fitness routine, then you suddenly feel that, that will probably get you only 25% of the results. And, 25% is not something that can really get you motivated, right? The reality is that if you can manage to put together 3 proper 40-minute strength sessions per week, and you can back those up with a few more good habits such as a decent diet, walking a few extra steps every day, you can get pretty close, not to just 50 or even 60 or even 70%, but you can actually easily get above 80%, and some would argue even 90% of the results you'd get, whether we're talking about more energy, better mood, better other stuff, better quality of life, and yes, even a great physique. This is why today I'll be sharing with you 5 strategies that we use in our coaching to help busy dads do just that. If you want to get the most out of your workout in the least amount of time, you need high quality work. In other words, the lower your volume, the higher the intensity should be in order to compensate. Therefore, every set has to be done with impeccable form, and once you warm up enough, you also have to take your sets to technical failure, meaning failure again with almost perfect form. Strategy number 2 is a repeat of strategy number 1, and the reason we emphasize this so much is because it's the most common problem we see with busy dads that fail to get the results they want, even though they feel that are putting in the work they should be putting in. Even though you might think that you're training till failure, chances are that in reality you're probably 4 to 5 or even more reps away from that, which is a huge chasm. In other words, you're training till psychological failure and your perceived limit, but not actual failure. So once your reps start slowing down, or you feel some discomfort, or maybe because you've connected this feeling to a bad experience in the past, such as an injury, you hold back. The truth though is that this is where true progress begins, and training till failure is simply a skill that you can develop. In the end, I like to think that this skill also bleeds into all kinds of other aspects of your life. It will make you mentally overall more resilient. It will help you embrace discomfort more easily. It will make you more self-disciplined. It will help you develop grit. And ultimately, it will empower you to navigate fatherhood and life a lot more effectively. Using supersets that focus on opposing movement patterns such as pull-push or different body parts like upper-lower should be your go-to if you want to see results, and there are 2 main reasons for this. For starters, superset training is linear enough for you to put in hard work and utilize the most important principle for making progress, which of course is progressive overload. And second, it keeps your workout short since you are training one muscle group while resting the other. Now, sure, you can bundle more exercises together, and if you use the right combinations, some trisets can also be effectively combined with supersets, But once you start going above that, you begin to sacrifice progress. In other words, if you're doing more of a circuit kind of workout, the problem becomes that cardiovascular failure tends to get in the way of actual muscular failure, which is important for all the reasons we mentioned previously. Myo reps or myo sets are another time-efficient and muscle-building technique for busy dads. In a nutshell, after you're done with one set till technical failure, you take very little rest and you follow that with several mini sets with, again, brief resting periods until you can't perform anymore. This is one of the best ways to maximize your training when you are extremely short on time, and I typically like to use it on days that I'm struggling to get my whole workout in. For example, last week, I think, or a few days ago, after warming up, I realized that I was actually shorter on time because I forgot all about an early appointment that I had. So instead of feeling disappointed because I wouldn't have enough time to push myself as hard as I wanted, I just picked one pull, one push, and one lower body exercise. I did one set till technical failure for each one of those, and I also followed each one of them with a few myo sets till failure. As a result, I got a workout that had a pretty similar feeling of exhaustion and accomplishment that I would get if I completed my whole workout, and I could therefore carry on with my day feeling pretty good about it. Now, although long resting periods are more optimum, especially for maximizing strength and hypertrophy, learning to work out hard enough with less rest is also something trainable, to an extent at least, if you do it gradually. In the end, most people's strength workouts consist of about 30% work, and the rest of it is typically, resting, of course, but also sometimes procrastinating on your phone, losing track of time, and whatever it is that you like to do when you are training. Therefore, when you become very strategic with your resting periods and you get better at keeping them short, your workouts can be equally effective and short. Especially if you're a busy dad with extremely limited time, then focusing on things such as your abs is usually not the best investment. Now, sure, these things can have their place, especially if there's a serious reason behind them, but if you're looking for the fastest way to see your abs, you simply have to make yourself less fat. Especially in the beginning, there's no other way around this. You are a lot better off by focusing on building more overall muscle and eating less and better. After all, there's no such thing as spot reduction unless a plastic surgeon is part of the process. If you focus on the proper big bang multi-joint compound exercises, you'll be getting plenty of core work anyway. Trust me, if you drop below 15% of body fat and you can knock out 20 pull-ups with good form, your abs will almost always look great. Of course, there's also the case of, people with crappy ab genetics, but for most dads, that's, just a topic that you should address a lot later in your journey. So to make a long story short, I'm not saying that training your abs is bad, but if you're on a very limited time budget, unless there's a serious reason for it, it will just suck time and energy from the stuff that you should be doing more, which are things such as more pull-ups, more dips, more push-ups, and in general, more exercises that will add more overall muscle to your frame. So that was all for today. If you're interested in coaching, you can always fill in our form below and get in contact with us. If you have any other questions, just leave them below. I'm always happy to get back to every single one of you. I'm also always interested in your content recommendations. So if you're a busy dad and there are things that you'd like me to address more, let me know below as well. And until next time, keep on training.